Justin Trudeau wants to stop sport shooters from being able to participate in their sport in Canada by taking away their sporting equipment or their firearms. And we know this is the case because Justin Trudeau has come out and said that he's considering a ban on firearms that are handguns. Now, Justin Trudeau wants to import the American debate on firearms into Canada, even though Canada is not the United States at all. When it comes to firearms restrictions. I've done many videos on this particular issue on how our rules are so much different and so much stricter in the United States. Please watch those. And I've also done a bunch of videos around the fact that even the statistics related to firearms-related violence in Canada are significantly different than in the United States. And a lot of the violent crime that happens in Canada don't involve weapons at all. So we need to, there's a lot of different policies that we could be looking at. And certainly I want to ensure that we reduce firearms-related violence to zero. But there's no evidence that shows that a handgun ban is actually going to do that in Canada, given our strict laws. Now, Justin Trudeau, of course, wants to import this debate from the United States because, again, he wants to deflect from his failures on virtually every single file imaginable, taxes, pipelines, anything. But Justin Trudeau is really desperate for this debate because hopefully he's hoping it will deflect Canadians' attention away from his failures. Now, I have to give credit where credit is due because today on this issue, a lone Liberal MP found some courage and made the following comment. Is this actually going to prevent people from having bad guns in the hands of bad people? So this is an article, actually, surprisingly, on the CBC. And the headline reads, as Liberals contemplate handgun ban, an urban-rural caucus divide emerges. So there's actually a Liberal MP, and I'm good for her. I'm really, really happy that she came out and did this. And this was her quote coming out of caucus. Her name is Goody Hutchings. I don't know her, but she says, nobody wants anybody killed. We all know that. But this, or the handgun ban, is this actually going to prevent and stop, having bad guns in the hands of bad people? Is that going to work? That's what I need to know. Now, good for her. Good for her for asking that question because there's been so much false data that's been thrown out that the Liberals have been using. And there's actually a video on my channel that debunks all of that data. But again, you don't have to take my word for it. There was an article in Global News last week talking about the fact that data shows that Toronto's gun surge never happened. And I encourage you to read this article. It was written by somebody named Matt Gurney. And he goes through and debunks the fact that this one fact about the amount of crime guns in Toronto and where they're coming from, he shows that data just didn't exist. So I think that's something that's really important to know. Canada is not the United States. The data that the Liberals are citing around handgun violence, it's just not true. And now we need to actually start looking at how, given all of these facts, we reduce violence in Canada. And that would be things like preventing gang-related violence, where we know a lot of the firearms-related violence happens. I've gone through and talked to you about the fact that the Liberals haven't been appointing judges, and I've seen in my province alleged firearms-related violence murderers walk free because their court case times out because there aren't enough judges to look at these cases. And that's crazy. I mean, these bills that they've been putting forward that water down sentences, why are they doing that if they supposedly want to prevent firearms-related violence? Why aren't they looking at better ways to screen for the importation of illegal handguns from the United States, where we know a majority of the guns that are used in violence in Canada come from? They don't come from people that have gone through the rigorous process of becoming firearms owners in Canada, which is way stricter and way more onerous and way more intensively regulated than the United States. So good for Goody, or whatever her name is, for coming out and talking about this. But while I'm going to praise a Liberal, I also have to talk about the fact that in the same article, another Liberal MP, just so desperate to, bring up this false debate, came out and starts talking about, false statistics. I think the quote that he used was, I'm tired of stepping over blood in my riding. And this is, of course, Liberal MP Adam Vaughan. Look, Adam, if you'd like to reduce violence in your riding, why are you supporting a bill that waters down penalties for gang-related violence or terrorism? Why aren't you asking the government for the fact that Ralph Goodale, your public safety minister, held a big, huge conference, I think about a year ago now, asking for the community for suggestions on how to reduce gang violence? And they gave a lot of concrete solutions that didn't involve a handgun ban that your government hasn't acted on at all. In fact, your government hasn't given any sort of money to police services to combat gang violence. I think it was a very paltry amount for Toronto. How come you're not pushing them on that? I think that Adam Vaughan is making these comments because he wants to, have crass politics rather than looking at the solutions that's actually going to prevent tragedies from happening in Toronto. And that's something that we all want to do, but we shouldn't be importing a debate that's in the US that really doesn't have any bearing on the facts and statistics in Canada. So, hey, there might be hope for the Liberals. At least one of them, at least one Liberal MP had the courage to come out and question Overlord Justin Trudeau's lack of wisdom on this file. Hopefully she's not silenced or she's not punished for coming out and asking a question that we should be asking as legislators. What is the best way to keep Canada's streets safer? And certainly the facts show, and it's not just me saying this, we've got people in the media asking these questions. People that have gone through the process that are, for example, our Olympic sports shooting team, are not the ones that are creating violence in Canada. It's people that have illegally obtained handguns and are usually involved in some sort of gang-related activity that are undertaking that, and that's what we need to stop. So that's the discussion I'm going to be having when we go back to Parliament on Monday. This is something that the Conservative Party has come out and very strongly said that we oppose a blanket ban on firearms because, frankly, it's just not going to work. Working hard for you in Calgary. Have a great day.